Alright, it is time for another unboxing video. It's another 4K UHD release. But change of pace here. It is not a Best Buy Steelbook. It is the 40th anniversary edition of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And you can see here, interesting box art choices all around. Does include the digital copy there. It does include the theatrical special edition and director's cut. It looks like those are all in 4K, so that's nice to see. And of course, what would this edition be without this effect here? So there you have the musical tones from the movie. It doesn't do the light up effect all the way around. That would have been kind of cool, but it's already unnecessary and over the top. Just kind of take it as is. I did want to, and we'll get into this as we open it up, but I also do have the 30th anniversary Ultimate Edition. This was probably one of the biggest in terms of collectors and special features releases on Blu-ray when the Blu-ray format was new. So, as every collector knows, you are fated to collect every version of every movie from now until the end of time. Just upgrading the audio and video every time. So the 4K UHD, I did want to point out, does have a Best Buy Steelbook that you can find on eBay for a good price. I have still yet to see it in the store. I just didn't want to buy both versions. I typically choose the version that has the most special features. Sometimes the Steelbook has all those features, sometimes it doesn't. So this was one of those times that didn't. It does take up a lot of room on your shelf though, it looks like. And we're just going to get this opened. It looks like there is the digital code in here, so I'm going to be sure and try to avoid showing you that code so you don't steal my access to the digital version. I imagine that this is a slip cover around the outside, but we will see when we get into it. That drops off there. It's not the sturdiest, but it's a pretty good looking release. So it looks like it just slides off there. And inside, I'm just going to play it one more time because I like it. There you go. It is a cool effect. I will give him credit for doing that. So it looks like it has the Close Encounters of the Third Kind visual history. So just a little book that comes on the inside. We'll get back to that. Let's see what else is in here. So it looks like on the inside that really the only other thing was the 4K version of this movie. I'm almost curious. I bet you could probably fit the Steelbook release in here, but I won't go crazy with that. But you have a pretty, I don't know if you can tell from the video, but it's a little bit thicker. 4K UHD release. I imagine the digital code is in here. It's nice that they packaged it in the slipcover. I always like tracking those down when we're talking about a non-steelbook release. It's just another something extra to have on your movies that sit on your shelf. So I think I'm going to go ahead and open the inside of this 4K release. I think the annoying thing about 4K right now, or the 4K UHD, is that it's still a new format, or newish, and they do have to remind the public at large about what you need to play it back, which means you have all these advertisements for the format itself. I'll put up with it. That's how you get 4K content. And we do have the digital code. I'm just making sure to take that out. On the inside, you had that digital code. You have an ad for the format itself. I imagine the people who buy this know what it's about, so I don't know how effective that is. But on the inside, you just have this 40th anniversary edition. Left is the Blu-ray feature. Looks like Blu-ray special features there. And then there's an empty spot. I don't think I'm missing a disc. I think it's just the 4K UHD in back. Feature film. And so that's on the inside here of this collection. Gonna go ahead and out of frame put the digital code back and we'll get it closed up. We're not done, of course, because I did want to compare it to what was in the 30th anniversary edition that came out on Blu-ray. For those of you that picked that one up about a decade ago, and see what it's like side by side. Put the UHD out of the way right now. Again, this is the visual history that came with the 4K UHD release. And we're going to find out what came with the original Blu-ray. And to be honest, my code might be in here as well, and I might try to hide that from you as well. So, here's the 30th Anniversary Ultimate Edition. Just from a packaging standpoint, I don't know, I like this. I like the digipack kind of box artwork. So as you can tell, it's the image from the movie. You have another image from the movie here. On the inside, it's just very, I don't know, it captures the spirit of the film a little bit better, I think, than the 4K UHD packaging. Every design decision, even in the disc art, reflects the movie, and I like it when studios go to that extra effort. Just helps sell the package as a whole. So this is the back of that digipack that includes the movie. And it looks like you have, this is side by side, so you have the 30th Anniversary Collector's Book, and you have the visual history. This one on the left here, again, is that 4K UHD. And it looks like the 30th Anniversary Edition, the Blu-ray, inside that digipack came with what I'm guessing... Oh, nice. I don't know, I don't really want to pan, because that would look cheap. But I'm just going to run this underneath. And what you have here is a fold-out Close Encounters poster. Must be the original. But you also have a view of the different edits in the original theatrical, special edition, and the director's cut. Different changes made in the timeline of the movie. It's kind of nice. I think from a film appreciation standpoint that they give you an overview of what the different versions were and basically give you a list of what those changes were. So I'm just going to real quick open up the 4K UHD guide to see if it has a table of content. And it does not. It just looks like... Actually, we're going to flip through the whole thing. Why not? I'm not shooting on film. Thus far, it's just been stills from the set. We will get into what the... Stills from the set, stills from the movie. We will get into what the Blu-ray released 10 years ago featured. This is another Steven Spielberg title, by the way. He seems to be, anyway, a well-represented director on the 4K UHD format. Saving Private Ryan, Close Encounters, E.T., The Post, Ready Player One is forthcoming. One can hope for Jaws, and personally, Munich one day, as well as Minority Report and AI. It is a little bit of a letdown that you don't get to learn more about the actors or the production or any of that behind the scenes stuff. It's just a flip book. Oh, but you know what we have here? It is a overview of the edits to the different version of Close Encounters. So they had the same thing as the poster, just shrunk down to fit in this companion booklet. And there you have that iconic shot from Close Encounters. Glad they included that. Okay, let's get into the 30th anniversary edition. Oh, yep. Here's what I was hoping that they had put into the 4K UHD version. Obviously, everybody knows Steven Spielberg. But you get these pull quotes and details from the production. It looks very similar. Francois Truffaut. It looks very similar, at least in terms of the set and behind-the-scene photos. It looks similar to the 4K UHD version, except you're getting a little bit more content here to read through. I always like these companion pieces when they do them. So you know what? I might have to reread through that as I watch the 4K, or after I watch the 4K UHD of Close Encounters. John Williams. So you just have more of the behind-the-scenes photos. I think this one is, if you compare them, I think it is a little bit longer than the 4K UHD book. It seems to have very similar photos, if not the same photos. But you just get some extra pull quotes, which, I don't know. Flipping through images is okay and interesting. But I just like the quick facts here that they point out, or some behind-the-scenes details. Oh, and then it is called The Most Resonant Scene There. So I would agree with that. Just great artwork, by the way, for this release. I think both releases for the most part. I do give the upper hand to the Blu-ray release from about 10 years ago. It's just a more put together package, as you can kind of tell and as we went through together. But you know, you can't always have the best of both. I'm going to put this back for now and reassemble, if I don't damage the book here. Alright, it just slides back in there. So that is Close Encounters, the 30th. Almost pulled off the label. That is the 30th anniversary edition for Blu-ray. And this again is that 4K UHD release. Has the slot there for the booklet. And you put the cap back on. And once more, just in case you're interested, there you have it. I don't know that I could have said it any better. Thanks for watching.